I made my family disappear.
Oh boy!
Kevin!
They're so mean to each other.
They're such a great family.
Shut up, Lenny. Flemwad.
Look what you did, you little jerk!
It's actually Deadpool for kids.
Yeah, that's fair. This is the thing about making things right. Sometimes it's a major pain in the butt. Any tough conversation you need to have, taking that step and saying, whatever happens, I'll at least be able to move forward. If there's someone you can reconcile with, if there's someone you can reach out to and be vulnerable and say, I miss you, take that risk. It may not pay off, but at least you know. And then again, it may, and it can be a beautiful thing. Hello, happy holidays, and welcome to Cinema Therapy. I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist who loves movies. This is
Alan Seawright, and keep the change, you filthy animal.
Oh my gosh, Home Alone, folks! I've wanted to do this episode for years.
I think the first time we got together to film, you were like, so this Christmas we're doing Home Alone, right?
But this Christmas we finally are. Movie family therapy on the McAllisters. Because, oh boy, they're so mean to each other.
They're such a great family. They're so loving and caring and kind.
I mean, they get there.
What am I supposed to do? Shake his hand and say, congratulations, you're an idiot?
Don't be a moron. Don't you know how to knock Flemwad?
They get there. So we're going to be talking about family scapegoating, shifting priorities, crises, illuminating what's most important, forgiveness, and just a whole bunch of holiday warmth. Let's do this.
I'm going to talk about John Williams a lot.
Now, this is after a buildup of a lot of people being mean to Kevin.
Yeah.
Watch it! No, get these passports out of here.
Is that Kevin's ticket?
Yeah.
You all right? What is the matter with you? He started it. He ate my pizza on purpose. He knows I ate sausage and olives and
Look what you
onions
did, you little jerk!
Classic line. But this is where mom and dad should be defending their son and calling out the uncle.
Yeah.
Come on, Dad. Buzz, this is your fault.
Kevin, get upstairs right now.
Why?
Kevin, you're such a disease.
Shut up.
Kevin, upstairs.
Say goodnight, Kevin.
Good night, Kevin.
This is an example of family scapegoating. In therapy, we call this the identified patient. When a family comes to family therapy, there's one person that everyone hones in on as the problem, and that person generally is not the problem. Everyone's just decided that they are so that they can all get along and blame all the problems on the one person. In more layman's terms, it's scapegoating. Because Dad is the one who didn't set the root beer down correctly and spilled root beer all over the place. The uncle is the one who backs up into Fuller's nose. Buzz was definitely antagonizing Kevin.
Yes.
And yet everyone is used to, we're seeing in this scene, this is not a first-time occurrence. People have decided that Kevin is the problem. And to be fair, Kevin is sarcastic and can be kind of a little punk. But what happens is people hone in on anything that reaffirms this narrative, and then they tune out anything that doesn't.
Yes.
And so they've decided that he's the problem. The real problem, honestly, is the uncle.
You be positive, I'll be realistic.
Kind of the whole point of this episode is the McAllisters could have used some good family therapy to work through some of their issues.
Definitely. Maybe they could have used BetterHelp.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Bet you didn't see that coming.
BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and to give you helpful, unbiased advice.
To get started, click the link below or go to www.betterhelp.com/cinematherapy and fill out the questionnaire to assess your specific needs.
You'll get matched with a therapist in most cases in 48 hours or less.
And they are committed to helping you find a therapist who's a good fit for you.
So you can easily switch to a new therapist at no cost if the first one you're matched with is not a good fit.
You can choose a time that's convenient for your therapy sessions.
And you can also choose how you want to do your therapy sessions. A phone call, video chat, or even via messaging.
You can even call in from a French airport on a payphone if you need to.
Or from the road with the biggest polka act in Sheboygan.
They did sell 600 copies of their album. Big success for them. But that's nothing compared to the BetterHelp network of over 30,000 therapists with a wide range of expertise.
Over 4 million people have used BetterHelp to start living a happier, healthier life.
If you think you might benefit from therapy, click the link below or go to betterhelp.com/cinematherapy.
You'll get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so that you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. Looking at you, wet bandits. get some help.
You're not a disease, Kevin. You're not even a little jerk.
There are 15 people in this house. You're the only one who has to make trouble.
I'm the only
Not
one.
true.
Dumb.
You're the only one acting up. Now, get
Nope,
upstairs.
not true.
I am upstairs, dummy.
Ooh.
The 3rd floor.
Go.
It's scary up there.
Don't be silly. Fuller will be up in a little while.
I don't want a super fuller. You know about him. He wets the bed. He'll pee all over me. I know it.
Fine. We'll put him somewhere else.
I'm sorry.
It's too late. Get upstairs.
Everyone in this family hates me.
Then maybe you should ask Santa for a new family.
I don't want a new family. I don't want any family. Families suck.
Just stay up there. I don't want to see you again for the rest of the night.
I don't want to see you again for the rest of my whole life. And I don't want to see anybody else either.
I hope you don't mean that. You'd feel pretty sad if you woke up tomorrow morning and you didn't have a family.
No, I wouldn't.
Then say it again. Maybe it'll happen.
I hope I never see any of you jerks again.
Whew. First off, I'm going to cut Kate McAllister a tiny bit of slack.
Because she's Catherine O'Hara and she is our queen?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, because there are 15 people in that house, they're all going to Paris.
Yeah.
And if I know anything about family dynamics, it's usually the mom who does most of the planning and making it work and making it happen and directing everything. So she is no doubt under a whole lot of stress. That said, there's not even a token effort to console her child or to convey the message of, hey, we had a rough night, you're still loved.
Right.
It's definitely when he says families suck and she says, maybe Santa will give you a new family. Imagine you're a mother, your son says everybody hates me, and your response is, meh.
All right, but you gotta get over it.
Now, this is how movies work, especially family movies where everything has to be painted in broad strokes. We need her to be cold and distant and mean, and for him to be disrespectful and bratty, so that when we get to the end, it really feels big.
Feels like a huge change.
Yeah, but honestly, I'd be like, okay, Kate, I'm your therapist, unburden yourself. And I would help her work through all of this holiday planning stuff she's got going on.
Yep.
So that she could be heard, understood, and have a game plan. And then when she's got that out of her system, she'll be in a better place to be present for her son. Because she is categorically wrong that he is the only one acting up.
Right.
And that he is the one who caused all of this. She just is.
Yep.
And maybe she's having a hard time seeing it right now because of everything else going on, but he needs a mother. When you sign up to be a parent, you sign up to be a parent even when it's hard and even when you're worn out.
Maybe slight counterpoint to that.
Okay.
If your kid is obviously in a heightened emotional state, right? Like he's amped up, he's raring to go.
And definitely manipulative. I'm sorry. Yeah.
In that situation, any number of times, if we had an attic, I would have sent the kid to the attic.
Yeah, sure.
But, send them to their room. Too long? Like, I don't want to hear from you until tomorrow?
Yeah.
Is that too long?
Because here's the thing. If I'm in her shoes, I'm probably not in the best space to be listening right now.
Right.
Kevin, you're upset, understandably. I'm worn out and overwhelmed. I'm not going to be as patient and loving with you as you need right now. So I want you to go sit upstairs for 15 minutes, for a half an hour. I'm going to come back. We're going to clean up the kitchen, get everyone else taken care of. I'm going to bring up some cookies and we're going to talk. But I need you to stay up here. That's the conversation. Then, yes, circle back and let cooler heads prevail.
I made my family disappear.
Kevin, you're completely helpless.
No, Kevin, you're what the French call les incompétents.
I'm going to feed you to my tarantula.
Kevin, you are such a disease.
There are 15 people in this house, and you're the only one who has to make trouble.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
The line reading on that.
I made my family disappear.
So, I think what we learned from this is the first Deadpool movie.
Because he talks to the camera.
Because he talks to the camera.
And because he's a violent sociopath?
Yes. I always thought Home Alone was Die Hard for kids. It's actually Deadpool for kids.
Yeah, that's fair.
Keep the change, you animal.
Honestly, the therapy that I would do with Kevin right here is the therapy that the movie itself provides for him. It just takes longer than a session with me.
Sure.
So we're going to continue and see what happens here.
The captain's doing all he can. Your phones are still out of order.
We'll call as soon as we land, Kate. I'm sure everything's okay.
Horrible. Horrible. Just horrible.
How could we do this? We forgot him.
We didn't forget him. We just miscounted.
What kind of mother am I?
If it makes you feel any better, I forgot my reading classes.
Oh my gosh, okay, first of all, there's a great bit of business from the dad. Like, he gets the glass of water and sort of, like, waves it at...
And nobody wants it?
The mom, and nobody wants it. So he's like, in the first shot, it's like Catherine O'Hara's slow turn to Uncle Frank on that terrible, terrible line that just, like, so perfectly timed and...
She is our queen for a reason.
She's so good.
Tragedies and crises have a way of helping us get our priorities in order and realizing what's really important. But Mr. McAllister, the previous night, he wasn't exactly harsh with Kevin. He just failed to protect him. He failed to step up for him. As a father, if an uncle were talking to my kid like that,
you'd step in.
Yeah, you'd say something.
Yeah.
And he didn't. But because mom was left to handle the Kevin situation, she also feels the most amount of guilt because not only is Kevin home alone, but I'm responsible for making the trip happen. So what type of mother am I? Number one. Number two, the last thing I said to Kevin before I left him home alone was an argument where I didn't comfort him or show him motherly affection. What we see here for the first time when she asked, am I a terrible mother? That's the first real indicator that she's not. Because of the remorse that she feels and because she is asking herself that question. She actually cares. Before, this is a little cold and detached there.
A little bit, yeah.
And so the therapy I would give, use this moment to figure out what matters most, and then what are you going to do about it?
Anyway, I'm sorry. Excuse me, you have places to go, people to see. Got a ticket there. It's good. Excuse me. Oh. I have been awake for almost 60 hours. I'm tired and I'm dirty. I have been from Chicago to Paris to Dallas to... Where the hell am I?
Scranton.
I am trying to get home to my 8-year-old son. And now that I'm this close, you're telling me it's hopeless.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, wait. This is Christmas, the season of perpetual hope.
Ma'am,
And I don't care if I have to get out on your runway and hitchhike. If it costs me everything I own, if I have to sell my soul to the devil himself, I am going to get home to my son.
Ma'am.
But are you willing to drive with polkists?
Do anything.
I can get you a hotel room.
What?
Can you excuse us?
She literally yipped at him.
I know.
Excuse us.
The guy at the ticket counter, I didn't appreciate until I was an adult. That guy's putting in work. A, he's up against Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah.
Not easy. And B, he has to just wilt and wither in a cartoony but believable way.
Yeah.
And you always want that kind of character actor to come in and play your little bit parts like that. Somebody who is going to be memorable but not steal the scene.
Right.
Like, you want it to be Catherine O'Hara's scene, but you want him to be a really good foil for it.
This is the thing about making things right. Sometimes it's a major pain in the butt. And I love that she's like, I've been awake for 60 hours, and she lists all the places that she's been. This is not just, well, she's a mom and this is what she's going to do for her son. This is Kate McAllister atoning for what happened at the beginning. And atonement is a crucial part of accountability taking. It's a crucial part of earning respect. And it creates space for reconciliation to happen. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and did you know that you can give the greatest Christmas gift of all?
Megan's Fresh Baked Cookies?
Second greatest gift of all.
Okay.
Us! Our Patreon, an annual subscription to our Patreon, is 16% off, and you can buy it for yourself, or
this is new and exciting.
You can give it as a gift.
It is a giftable, gifty gift.
You can buy a Patreon membership, get our commercial-free extended director's cuts, sketch comedy bits, and our bloopers, our filmmaking deep dives, our therapy deep dives, and Cinema Therapy Studios, our Patreon, is funding Alan's film career. And so...
The whole career. It's a short film. I made a romantic comedy. It'll be coming out February.
Yeah.
And it's good?
It's actually good. I mean, it is good. Not actually. It's good, and we all knew it would be. Our films are decided on by our patrons. So once again,
that's right.
You can get that for yourself for a year, 16% off, or you can give it as a gift using the link in the description below.
You want to know the real reason why I'm here right now?
Sure.
Speaking of
I came
reconciliation.
to hear my granddaughter sing, and I can't come and hear her tonight.
You have plans?
No. I'm not welcome.
At church?
Oh, you're always welcome at church. I'm not welcome with my son. Years back, before you and your family moved on the block, I had an argument with my son.
How old is he?
Well, he's grown up. We lost our tempers, and I said I didn't care to see him anymore. He said the same, and we haven't spoken to each other since.
If you miss him, why don't you call him?
I'm afraid if I call him, he won't talk to me.
How do you know?
I don't know. I'm just afraid he won't.
No offense, but aren't you a little old to be afraid?
You can be a little old for a lot of things. You're never too old to be afraid.
That's true. I've always been afraid of our basement. It's dark.
You know, this is a silly, fun holiday movie, and yet this scene hits me every time I watch it.
Basements are like that.
And it speaks to me that the old man's in church and he's confessing. Not to a priest, but he is confessing.
All this time I've been worrying about it, but if you turn on the lights, it's no big deal.
What's your point?
My point is, you should call your son.
What if he won't talk to me?
At least you'll know. Then you could stop worrying about it. And you won't have to be afraid anymore.
That's a great point.
I don't care how mad I was, I'd talk to my dad. Especially around the holidays.
I don't know.
Just give it a shot. For your granddaughter anyway. I'm sure she misses you. And the presents.
You better run along home where you belong. You think about what I said, all right?
Okay.
It's nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you.
Once again, you're bit actors. You want them to be really
How about
good.
you?
Me?
Yeah, you and your son.
We'll see what happens. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And this actor does such a great job of, part of it's lighting and part of it's how you shoot him, but you light him right and you shoot him correctly and he can look like a crotchety, creepy, potential murderer.
Yeah.
Or nice warm light and you have him say some kind things and he turns into this avuncular, lovely old man.
What does that mean?
Avuncular? Fatherly.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at you. You're so smart.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
It's such great advice Kevin the therapist gives here.
Yeah.
Before he goes into like Kevin the commando.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
Just the notion of not doing something because you're afraid of what might happen. But what's really going on is until you have the question answered, you're always going to be afraid. When the old man asks, well, what if he doesn't talk to me? Kevin's like, at least you'll know. And then you don't have to worry about it and be afraid anymore. That is great advice. Whether it's telling someone that you have feelings for them and seeing if it's mutual, or any tough conversation you need to have, taking that step and saying, whatever happens, I'll at least be able to move forward.
Yeah.
Instead of being stuck. He's been stuck for years, not connecting with his son, not connecting with his granddaughter.
It is always best to come clean pretty much as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm. Kevin, as is often the case for therapists, is giving advice that he needs to take himself.
What?
Because he lashed out at his family. He didn't engage in perspective taking because they weren't doing that. But the fact is, we can only control ourselves. Kevin can only control if he's accountable for himself, if he is compassionate towards his family, if he is forgiving towards his family, and let them sort out what they're going to do. He needs to do what he's telling the old man to do. I mean, we skipped all the wanton violence, but, you know, you all know what happens. Joe Pesci tries to keep in the F words.
You were all kids. You watched that on repeat. Like I did.
Freaking John Williams. I have somewhere in my memory on every Christmas playlist I've got.
Yeah.
Because it just feels.
It feels like Christmas.
Merry Christmas, sweetheart.
Can't just pretend it didn't happen, Mom. I mean, in fairness, you were kind of a jerk to her too, Kevin.
Oh, Kevin, I'm so sorry.
And yet, taking your responsibility, being tender, being vulnerable. If hearts are going to melt, that's how they melt.
Yeah. And John Williams is responsible for 3/4 of the success of this film.
The other quarter is Joe Pesci keeping in the F-bombs.
Joe Pesci not saying the F-bomb. That's 24% of it. 1% is literally everything else.
And let's be honest, the rest of the family is pretty self-absorbed. They should all be all about Kevin right now. But they're in fighting.
You're all right. I love you. You okay?
I love you. You okay?
It's pretty cool that you didn't burn the place down.
Honestly, from that big brother, that's as good as you're gonna get.
Yep, pretty much.
Wait a minute. How did you guys get home?
Oh, we took the morning flight, remember? The one you didn't want to wait for?
Oh, no. Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Okay.
Well, someone has to find an open store. We don't even have milk here.
I went shopping yesterday.
You shopping?
I got the milk, eggs, and fabric softener.
Not bad for a disease.
No kidding. What a funny guy. What else did you do while we were away?
Just hung around.
I killed 2 guys.
By all rights, they should be dead. It's so funny that dad just kind of walks away. There's a scene earlier in the movie that I love where after he's dealt with the wet bandits, Kevin's still home alone and the novelty is worn off. He's no longer jumping on beds. He's no longer eating junk food and he just misses them. And so he's ready now to receive them. What needs to happen right now in family therapy is some trauma work.
Yep.
Because this is the 1990s. There's no cell phones. There's no internet at this point, the early 90s. For all they know, he could have been dead. And they had the days and days of thinking he might be dead or injured. And he had days and days of thinking they might never come back. So we have some work to do so everyone can be at peace and really enjoy the holidays.
First of all, you got to deprogram him from thinking he can magically wish things to go away. Because that's what he believes. For a long time.
Everyone sees Kevin for who he truly is instead of scapegoating him and making him, the family problem.
Yeah, so at least he's not the identified patient anymore.
Right. And that's a bit of Hollywood wish fulfillment. I'm not saying that doesn't happen in families. That's part of what therapy is. But it doesn't happen like this because this whole scenario is a movie.
Exactly like in the movie? That is the most idiotic thing I've ever heard in my life.
But it does arrive at that place of being seen and being accepted for who you are instead of being seen as the problem. What I would really lean into right now is, okay guys, now that we've got all this goodwill, everyone's happy that Kevin's alive, now is the time for people who wouldn't normally say, I'm sorry, this is their moment. Or this is the moment to hold them accountable because no one's on edge anymore, everyone's in a good mood to say, hey, Uncle Frank, when you called me a little jerk, that hurt. When you called me a disease, also out of line. And for the parents who before didn't stand up for their son, now that their priorities are back in line, they almost lost him or they felt like they did, to say, hey, can we sit down for a second and talk about how we spoke to Kevin? Because he didn't deserve that. Kevin can apologize to his mother for calling her an idiot or whatever he called her.
Dummy.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that needs to happen and it's just kind of like released into the ether, which don't get me wrong, sometimes that's okay as well. But this is how we deliberately establish new patterns.
And that's why therapists aren't screenwriters, because that would be boring to watch.
No, it wouldn't. It's called Ted Lasso.
Oh. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
This scene I'm mostly showing because I want to cry.
You just want to listen to more John Williams, don't you?
Well, you know in Seinfeld where Jerry's like, you cried in Home Alone? And George says, the old man moved me.
I love the little cartoon twinkle on that tooth.
Uh-huh. Is that animated? Hand-drawn animation
Oh, yeah.
in the 90s? That's how they would have done that, right? 1990 when this was? No, but I'm straight up including this because we talk of family reconciliation, but we need to show it.
Yep.
And also, for a pretty on-the-nose call to action, though, if you're watching this, you may have people right now that you're not talking to, and maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe it's a safety thing.
Sure.
Right? I'm not suggesting to, like, break that boundary and make yourself unsafe, but sometimes it's just wounded pride. Sometimes it's fear of being rejected. But it's worth the risk. Worst case, old man doesn't have this moment, but at least he can move forward. Best case, you get this.
A John Williams score for your life.
No, but that would be amazing. Well, I've fantasized about that since childhood.
I have a John Williams score for my life. It's every piece of music he ever wrote for all movies. I can just choreograph it.
Kevin!
So, my holiday wish for anyone watching this is if there's someone you can reconcile with, if there's someone you can reach out to and be vulnerable and say, I miss you, I'm sorry, I'd like to make things right between us, take that risk. It may not pay off, but at least you know. And then again, it may, and it could be a beautiful thing.
So until next time.
I'm gonna give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property or I'll pump your guts full of lead.
1, 2, 10. Merry Christmas.
Keep the change, you filthy animal. A special shout out and a thank you to all of our patrons who get all sorts of amazing content, including ad-free, lengthier director's cuts. Folks on our Patreon like
Rashid,
Joshua Matthews,
M. McBerry,
Ryan Showers,
and Christine.
Look what you did, you little jerk. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to say that. You're not jerks. You're
not
wonderful.
jerks. You're great.
Yeah, you are great.
Hold on a second. There you go.